All right, so today I'm gonna be talking about confidence, and confidence for me has had like a large impact on my life. And so for like the first like 14 years of my life, I actually struggled to speak. So I was in speech therapy and constantly stuttered, and I like would fumble over my words. And so that was especially when I was in like a large group of people, or I was talking to adults and even my peers. And so throughout my life, I've just really seen how confidence has like impacted it. It's also like enabled me to be a more confident man and who God has like wanted me to be. And so if I was to give you all like a simple definition of how confidence works, it is unlocking the ability to alter your mindset. All right. So I really want to like define what confidence is. And so confidence isn't just a tangible thing that you can say, hey, I'm confident right now. That's not how confidence works. You can't just be confident. You have to earn it. It's something that is like a day-to-day thing, a step-by-step process that is earned. So confidence is a powerful tool. So it's not. It's like it's an ability that you gain. So it's also the driving force of the decisions that we make. So when you're confident, you alter your mindset. So when your mindset is positive and you're able to articulate what you want, you can go after things and you can be more successful in that. It also dictates the manner in which we present ourselves. So it's very easy to like when you look at somebody, you can really tell when somebody's confident or somebody has fear or they're like shying away from things. And so when you're confident who you are and who you're supposed to be, that reflects. All right. And so in my search for like figuring out how to be confident, I turned to scripture, but also some books. And most importantly, the one that really stood out to me was The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And so The Art of War, if y'all don't know, is the oldest military strategy book known to man. And he gave like 21 principles of like how to win wars and how to like great strategy, but also he was like a philosopher. And so the quote I got from him was know yourself and know your enemy, and you need not fear for the result of 100 battles. So if you know yourself first, so if you know like what are you good at, like what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, where do you fall short, but like where are you being gifted in, like where are you really good at. And then if you know your enemy, so your enemy is not just like people, that's every circumstance you come across, like where like any situation that you're in, knowing what you're up against basically. And so what I really love about this is you need not fear. So you don't have to have fear of the like what if. So I've really struggled with the what ifs in my life of like, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I people take me the wrong way? Like, what if I fail? Like, if failure is a huge thing. And so if we're confident in ourselves and we know what we're up against, we can not have to fear of the what ifs. And that's it's also talking about the battles. That's just like your circumstances, what you're going up against. And so the big question that I've always wanted to answer for myself, and in the last like 4 years, I've really narrowed down to a more like specific three Bible verses, and it is what does it mean to have confidence in who God created me to be? And it is so the first one I have Psalms 139 verse 14, and so each of us are given like intrinsic value at birth. So we're each like created individually. So that means we each have like qualities that are our own. Like no person you meet is going to be the same as you. So each of us are gifted in some area, and God did that on purpose. And so the next, I have Romans 12:6 through 8. And so we're all given gifts. So um, personally, like a gift for me is I would say I'm like athletic. And so I can play sports that God has given us the ability to do. And I can really like shine through that. And the last one I have is Ephesians 2:10, and God has given us a purpose to fulfill His plan. He all has a plan for each one of us. And sometimes I really think God is really funny. So a little story about me is when I was like 15 and first got my permit, I hated driving. My dad had to literally pay me to get in the car and drive. I hated it that much, and it's just really funny how God has now given me this passion for like airplanes and stuff. And I went from the kid who was scared to drive a car to now wanting to fly planes for a living. So it's really amazing how He works, and learning to be confident in how God has created me. It's just given me a platform to be successful. And so I also want to talk about something called self-talk. And so it's really amazing that each one of us have more than like 6,000 thoughts a day, and we really don't think about what we're telling ourselves that much. Like it's very easy to like someone will point out like, "Hey, like, what are you thinking about?" And I couldn't tell you. Like, so it's kind of crazy. And God also knew we were going to struggle with this, so He gave us Proverbs 4:23, which says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything else flows from it." And so that's basically saying all your thoughts, all your what you do with your life is all going to come from your heart. So if your heart's in the right place and it's seeking God, you're going to be on the right path. And these all have like all your thoughts have a really big impact in your life. So there's something called negative self-talk and positive self-talk. So it's like the way you talk to yourself, and it's really amazing. So the things that you would say to others, you so easily say to yourself. Like you wouldn't go to somebody and be like, "Hey, you suck." You never do that, but you so you so easily say it to yourself. So it's it's amazing once you change your mindset from having negative self-talk to like really positive things, how more successful you'll become. And so I also want to talk about self comparison. So it's so easy to like look to the right, look to the left, and like, hey, this person is really gifted in this, and why am I not gifted in that? Why? What have I? What am I good at? And so when you start comparing yourself to others, you rob yourself of joy. So you lose what it means to like have your what you are good at. You lose the mindset of like, hey, I'm good at this. They're good at this, but I'm good at this. And so that's something I've always struggled with. And in the last like 4 years, 5 years, I've really grown in understanding like what I'm good at and what I can do to bless others, most importantly, but also have value in myself first. And so as seniors, we're all like moving on to the next chapter in our life. So we're all moving on to college or the workforce or wherever you're going to do. And I think that this has a great impact on us because I just first want to like I'm super thankful for where I am. Like God has really given me the opportunity to be successful because first of all I'm at Southside and I have men in my life like Coach Thomason, Mr. Satterfield, who have really impacted me and shown me what it means to be a confident man and also a godly man. And so I'm most thankful for that. But and they have like constantly poured into my life, and it's just like a perfect example of what I want to be. And also, we're going to be challenged in so many different ways. Like who you are is going to be challenged daily when you go to college, wherever you go. Like if you are strong in who you are and you know who you want to be, you'll stay on the right path, and God will have the right path for you. And so I just want to end with that by saying we don't have to fear for what is like upcoming if we know who we are and the impact that we want to have on our life and others. So, yeah. Yeah. So you and me, we know each other from baseball. So this is the idea of confidence is something that we talk about all play and pro sports. We see it at the top level of business, we see it in politics, all this stuff. Um, how would you differentiate between confidence? Because that's something a lot of guys get that very confused and they get mislabeled as confidence. How would you differentiate? So I would say confidence has like miles behind it. So it has like something that's is rooted in. Confidence is not something that you just have. Confidence is earned. And arrogance is somebody who's like they're gonna go into something that they have no business doing and they're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna be the best at it, I'm gonna be the greatest. Well, that's not true confidence. That's arrogance. Arrogance is also gonna tell you that they're confident and they're gonna be successful. They're not gonna be humble. So yeah.
Yeah, I like that distinction. You mentioned how much the word fear came up with you, right? And then you mentioned something about comparison. Um, I'm sorry, yeah, you spent a good bit talking about comparison. I'm interested in the connection between those two things. You're comparing one another, like all of us struggle with this person succeeding in a way that I have a hard time succeeding, and man, if I don't ever achieve what they've achieved, and it was just like you used the word fear at some point, and that kind of stuck out to me. In the same way, like comparison is always comparing ourselves with someone, right? Fear is always has an object. always the question, well, what are you afraid of exactly, right? And I wonder, like, is there, maybe you can speak a little more to this. It's a really broad question, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But like maybe speaking a little more to it, like how much of that comparison with someone else really is just based on what exactly are we afraid of?
Yeah, I
See where
got
I'm
you.
getting at? Yeah.
So I think the fear really comes from like looking to the future. Like if you're present in the moment and you're taking like step by step, I think that fear really goes away because you often compare yourself to where others are and where you want to go, but you like don't really reflect on where you are now and what it takes to get there. So yeah, I think that's where the fear comes from. And if you're confident in who you are now, you'll get to where you need to go.
I really like your interpretation of that's a really famous book, really
Mm-hmm.
famous quote. I'm thinking, okay, what's confidence?
Yeah.
You know, but you're right. Like the whole idea of, and I'm not trying to be all like logical or whatever, but yeah, like the biggest enemy most of us have to deal with
So,
is that
so
side.
yeah.
Like you call it weird, call it new age, call it whatever you want to, but like that. So I really like that. I'm just more curious than anything. You're right. The guy who is flying on a regular basis, why in the what was the fear again? Maybe I'm back on this fear thing. What was the fear in terms of driving? Were you ever able to like
Yeah, yeah.
pinpoint something?
I I thought I wasn't ready. Like I thought like I have no business like driving. Like what if the what ifs? It's like what if I crash? Like what if I get a ticket? Like so many different things like ran through my head, and I was like, I'm not ready for this. Like I don't want the responsibility of driving. And so yeah, like understanding like you're gonna have to go outside your what you're comfortable with, and like so my dad always says you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So like once and that's been huge in my life. Like once I become comfortable being uncomfortable, I can go after new things and pursue different like a different career that I want to do. And yeah,
I mean, that kind of doubles back to what you were saying earlier. How does that saying go? Where it's like crisis, you always rise to the level of your preparation.
mm-hmm.
Like you're only going to be as good as you have prepared. Maybe there's a little bit of luck involved. Maybe you go a little bit above and beyond. But whenever there's tragedy or crisis in an airplane is a pretty intense situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do? It's all about the training, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the preparation. So can I nerd out really quick?
So, yeah, go.
So the word confidence, okay, is in the Latin confide. Fide is faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
So confidence is literally just with faith. Again, that's why I'm kind of on that kick about the fear thing that you brought up. That's a really interesting component to this because in a lot of very interesting ways, faith is the opposite of fear. It's also the confidence is interesting because it is whatever we're doing confidently, we're doing with faith. But like fear, faith always has an object. The question is like if you're confident, what are you confident? And I think that goes back to the question about arrogance, where it's like, what are you confident in? You think you're the center of all this stuff, or is it that you just know I've been trained really well by some really good people, and I have faith that that training is going to carry me.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really healthy, like, yeah, that's just everything I think you were pushing. Classmates, you got anything?
Is it possible for someone that's authentic confidence?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, um, you could be confident in who you are. It goes back to where you are right now. I mean, if you don't know what you're called to do with your life yet, but if you're present right now, it'll allow you to take the right steps to get there. Like you'll eventually figure it out. Like I think everyone will eventually figure out a career or whatever they're passionate about that God has really called them to if they're taking the right steps.
Like the incremental thing that you did. It's like this step by step thing of yeah, I may not know now what my life's purpose is, but I know what I'm supposed to accomplish today,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's enough now to get me through this. Anybody else?
For sure. I mean, um, there's a lot of people out there who so confidence isn't just like like the introvert and extrovert, like there's two different things to that. Um, it looks different for everybody. I mean, that's a good question. I think that it comes down to like your personality and who you are and like, what you value and what you're pursuing. I think that's really how. But confidence looks the same in that it shouldn't be, hey, look at me. You should have like compassion for others through your confidence. You should be able to you got to be able to love yourself before you can love others. So I think that's the confidence is going to look similar, but it's going to be different for you personally. I guess that's the question.
I'd like piggyback off of that because we talk a lot. Like all I do is work for that various sports. We talked about like confidence. Comes back to that confidence versus arrogance, where a lot of people think like the louder I am, the more I talk, the more I'm seen as leader. Some of the best leaders I've ever had on any team I've ever been a part of been the guys that don't talk, but they do what they're supposed to do, what they know expected of them, what they kind of confidence does for everybody. Sometimes that talks a lot and is outspoken. Sometimes kind of going off where you're talking about knowing who you are. Like it doesn't necessarily have to do with your
Mm-hmm.
time. It's just what you stand for, living by that. What it is, why I do things. That makes the rest.
Say confidence is more like a good, like a feeling, like feeling good, or just holding yourself to good expectations.
I wouldn't really call it a feeling. I would call it an ability. Like it's an ability to be confident. Like you have like what was the second part of your question?
Or
Would
like,
you
is it? Would you say is almost holding yourself to expectations?
Yeah, I think it's important to hold yourself to certain like expectations, but to be realistic. You're gonna fail. Like you're gonna have failure. Like part of confidence is being confident through every kind of situation, like every like circumstance you come through, like staying steady in your confidence. It shouldn't be impacted by what you're going through.
Anybody else? Last call?